governments of both countries to explore the opportunities that we have in this term. And I must say that bilateral cooperation between our countries, it can be and should be kind of complementary cooperation. As I stressed, Kazakhstan is the largest landlocked country in the world, and in this term, Pakistan can help us in terms of getting access to the warm waters, and vice versa. You need energy, you need wheat, and Kazakhstan, for example. And again, Kazakhstan has great reserves of oil, gas, coal, uranium, so on and so forth. And we can definitely help you, and we can share our reserves, natural reserves, with your great country. So, but you know, prior to developing cooperation, we should definitely understand what is happening in our countries and what are our countries today. And I must say that under the leadership of our President Tokayev, we have held a number of decisive political reforms. Our President stressed several times that without political transformation, without changes to our political system, it is difficult to expect any economic development in our country. And we believe that political reforms are closely interrelated with economic development of our country. This is why since 2019, when he took office, a number of political packages were implemented in our country. I'll give you just, the latest examples. Our president introduced a ban, and according to this amendment to our constitution, his close relatives cannot be members of our government or state-owned organizations. This is actually was implemented by his own initiative. The main idea is to limit the power of the president and to make our parliament more influential and more active in our political life. And our government should be accountable before the civil society, before citizens. The ultimate goal of these political reforms is to build a fair Kazakhstan for each and every citizen. And it was stressed several times by our president that we will do our utmost to make our government accountable before our civil society, and we are decisive to bring changes which are in a high demand in our society. This year we celebrated the Republic Day of Kazakhstan. It was on October 25th. And many people were asking me what happened, because normally we used to celebrate our Independence Day on December 16th. But in fact, on October 25th in 1990, our Supreme Council of Kazakhstan adopted a declaration on independence, which actually built a solid foundation for further creation of our independent state of the Kazakh nation. And 1 year later, on December 16th, 1991, we adopted a constitutional law saying that Kazakhstan from now on is a sovereign and independent country. So in general, this is what we have. But let me also share some ideas that were announced by our president during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly in September this year. He stressed that he's absolutely committed to build a just Kazakhstan, one in which every citizen has the same opportunities, rights, and protections. Justice in Kazakhstan must prevail. Law and order will become pillars of our society. The most important part of this path is transformative political reforms. Presidential and parliamentary elections will be held in Kazakhstan over the coming months. By the way, the presidential election will take place on November 20th, next month. According to his proposal, the presidential mandate has been limited to 1 7-year term. It means that no one can be nominated for presidential elections more than one time. And it is a real breakthrough in developing democracy in Kazakhstan. At the same time, we will be firmly adhering to the formula of a strong president, authoritative parliament, accountable government. And our president is convinced that this formula excellently serves the national interests of Kazakhstan. We also aim to demonopolize the economy. We are taking steps to ensure that the wealthiest in our society play their part in our quest for just Kazakhstan, along with diversifying our economy and increasing investments in human capital. Recently, our president initiated the creation of a so-called National Fund for Children. Starting in 2024, 50% of the investment income from the National Welfare Fund will be allocated to special savings accounts for children until their adulthood. These funds could be used for education or housing purposes. A special private charity fund for the people of Kazakhstan also now provides assistance to ordinary citizens for healthcare, education, and social security aims. We aim to further expand the empowerment and participation of women in economic and public life. Comprehensive national transformation is not a simple process, and there will certainly be pitfalls and bumps in the road. But if we are firmly to meet the expectations of Kazakh citizens, we cannot deviate from this strategic path. Over the past 3 years, we have carried out substantial transformations through 4 packages of political reforms. For example, new laws passed by the parliament simplified political parties registration and reduced the threshold for parties to enter parliament from 7 to 5%. To promote a wider involvement of citizens in governance, there is now a mandatory 30% quota for women and young people in electoral party legislative lists. To make local administration more accountable, local mayors are now directly elected. To foster a more open culture between society and government, we have to change the law on peaceful assembly. Government authorization is no longer required. Following its international commitments on the fundamental right to life and human dignity, Kazakhstan abolished the death penalty. Just Kazakhstan depends on our multi-ethnic and multi-confessional solidarity. The unity in diversity principle will be preserved at all costs. The thing is that Kazakhstan today represents one of the most, I would say, diverse societies in the world, because in our country there are more than 130 ethnic groups living, in Kazakhstan since I don't know how long.
Parliament and accountable government. First of all, the Senate of the Parliament of
representing about 18 faith communities. So it was a not easy task to create harmony and society of tolerance, and to build solid foundation for further strengthening our society's bonds, developing dialogue between different religious communities, between different ethnic communities. But thanks to the measures and thanks to the policy implemented by our government, we believe that it's one of the greatest assets that we have in our country. We have no conflicts based on religious or ethnic background, and we believe it is extremely important, especially for such country as Kazakhstan, taking into account our geopolitical location. Our immediate neighbors are Russia, China. Through the Caspian Sea, we have neighbors such as Azerbaijan, Iran, so on and so forth. So this is the main message that I have to deliver, and I hope that, I believe that we will have very fruitful discussions, and I'm always open to answer to questions if you might have. Once again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much.